Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on antonyms. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts, grade 5. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of antonyms. All right. So we are doing antonyms. So we said our chapter is antonyms. Our chapter is in antonyms. Our subject is English Language Arts. Grade 5. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of antonyms is understanding synonyms, the opposite of antonyms, and find antonyms in context. That is going to be our lessons for today. All right. All right. So when it comes to our lesson for today, which is antonyms, right? We said antonyms or before we even go to antonyms, in our previous lesson, we did synonyms, right? And synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning, right? So it's like different words, right? But it is words that have the same meaning or that have almost the same meaning, right, as the other word. That is synonyms. So now today we were doing antonyms, and antonyms are the opposite of synonyms, right? Synonyms are words with the same meaning, whereas antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. Right? So antonyms are words with the opposite meanings of what the word means. And when it comes to antonyms, right, it's like if you look at a specific word, like for example, big, and then the opposite of that word big, that is the antonym. So antonyms are words with the opposite, we can say opposite meaning or opposite in meaning to another word, right? And if we look at a few antonyms, right? Let's say, for example, look at the word bad. We need to say the opposite of bad. So if bad is our antonym, right, then we need to give the opposite of that word. And the opposite of bad is good, right? It's the same with happy. I'm happy, I'm cheerful, I'm chirpy. But the opposite of happy, right, means that you are unhappy, right? So far, that is two examples of antonyms where it is words with the opposite meaning, right? Like, for example, we said bad and good. Happy is our word, and unhappy is the antonym of happy. It's like saying hot. I'm going to look for a few words and then you are going to give me the opposite. Near, the opposite of near, the opposite of tall, the opposite of unite, finished, appear. Let's say disapprove. Okay, let's stop just there. So now if you look at these words, right, we need to now say what the opposite of these words are. The opposite in meaning of these words are. For example, correct. There's another word, correct. So we need to say what the words are that has the opposite meaning of the words that we see in front of us. Like we said, for example, with bad, the opposite of bad, meaning that if you're not bad, you're not a bad person, then you are good. If you are not happy, then we can either say you are sad or you are unhappy, right? Because now that is the opposite of happy. What is the opposite of hot? The opposite of hot. And the opposite of hot, we can say it is cold. The opposite of near. What is the opposite of near? If something is not near, then it is very. So we can say the opposite of near is very far. If someone is not tall, then they are short. What is the opposite? Unite. Unite. What is the opposite of uniting either someone or something? It's either united we stand or divided we fall. So if you don't unite, you divide. Finished. The opposite of finished is unfinished. appear, and then we disappear. To disapprove on something. What is the opposite of disapprove? What is the opposite of not approving something? And the opposite of not approving something is to approve something. And then lastly, if something is if the opposite of we need to give the opposite of correct. If it's not correct, then it is, we can say, incorrect. Right? So these are but a few examples of antonyms. And we said antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. It words that means the opposite in meaning. Those are antonyms. All right. And before we go to aplusstudents.ca, once again we say antonyms are words with the opposite in meaning. That is what you need to remember, opposite. Synonyms are the words with the same meaning, right? All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. And we're going to go to the first lesson, which is understanding synonyms, opposite of antonyms. All right, so we need to understand the synonyms, and we said synonyms are the opposite of antonyms, right? And once again, before we go on, we said once again that synonyms are words with the same meaning or it's words with almost the same meaning, right? And if we look at words that are synonyms, then we can say dad, and the word that's the same as dad is father, right? Basically, the meaning of these two words are the same. The role that the one takes or the one that the one plays is the same. Dad, father, mom, and mother, right? Those are words with either the same meaning or words with almost the same meaning. All right. So now, if we look at this activity, it says, which word is the synonym of sack? What is a word that's the same as sack? And if we were to find the word that's the same as sack, we can say it is a bag, right? Because a sack is basically just like a big bag that you use to, also carry things. So it's also something that you use to hold things. So a bag as well as a sack does the same thing. What is the word that's the same as to quit? If you quit, what are you doing? If you quit, what are you doing? And the word that is the same as to quit, right? Does it mean you need to stop, or does it mean you need to proceed? The same as quit. Does quit mean you need to either stop, or does it mean you need to proceed? Which one is correct? And the word that's the same as quit is to stop. If you quit, that means that you're basically stopping whatever you were busy with. You give up, you stop. That is what quit means, right? And then the last one, what is the meaning, or let's say, what is the word, another word for quick? What is the word, the synonym for quick? The word that is the same as or almost the same as quick. Is it speedy or is it drowsy? Quick. What is the word that is the same as quick? Is it speedy or is it drowsy? All right, and the word that is the same as quick, we can say it is speedy. It's like hurry, fast. That is what the word is that is the same in meaning. All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. No, actually, we're going to the test, sorry. And this is where we're going to be understanding synonyms, which is the opposite of antonyms. We now need to say which word is the synonym of hard. Which word is a synonym of hard? Is it option one, firm, or option two, weak? The word that is the same as hard. Is it option one, firm, or option two, weak? And if we were to find the word that is the same as hard, right? And then we will say it is option one. Because something that is hard, that is quite firm, right? So the another word for hard is firm. Which word is the same as, or almost the same as sec? The word that's the same as, or almost the same as sec. Is it contain or is it bag? Contain or bag? So the word that's the same as, or almost the same as sec, is it contain or bag? All right, and if we were to find the correct answer, we would say option two. Option two is correct. Bag is the same as sack. We need to say which word is a synonym or the same as incorrect. The word that's the same as incorrect. Is it wrong or is it difficult? Wrong or difficult? So the words that is the same as incorrect. Is it wrong or difficult? And if we were to find the word that is the same as incorrect, then we can say it is wrong. If something is incorrect, it is wrong. So option one is correct. Well done. The same as quick. The same as quick. Is it option one, speedy, or option two, drowsy? The same as quick. The word that's the same as quick. Is it option one, speedy, or option two, which is drowsy? And the word that's the same as quick, it is speedy, fast, quick, quick. So well done, speedy is correct. Which word is the same as stop? The word that's the same as stop. Is it option one, to quit, or option two, advance? The same as to stop. If you stop, is it you quitting or you advance? All right. And if we were to say which word is the same as stop, then we would say the option is to quit. So option one is correct. It is quit. The same as thin. What is the synonym of thin? The same as or almost the same meaning as thin. Is it broad or is it skinny? And if we were to find words that the same as, almost the same as thin, and then we would say it is skinny, because skinny is very slender, it's thin, right? So skinny is correct. The word that's the same as far. So the word that's the same as very far. Is it distant or is it approach? Same as far. Is it distant or approach? So the words that's the same as or almost the same as far. Is it opposite or is it approach? And the words is the same as or almost the same as, we can say it is distant. All right. So now we're going to be finding antonyms in context, right? And we said antonyms are words with the same meaning. And what antonyms are words with the opposite of meaning. The opposite. And if we make examples of antonyms, we can say we have big. The opposite of big is either small or little. All right. So antonyms are words with the opposite meaning, and that is what we said. And we made a few examples of happy. When you're happy now, then later on you're either sad or you unhappy. Something is correct now, but it can also be incorrect, right? So that is but a few examples of antonyms, which is words with the opposite meanings. All right, so now we're going to select the antonym in the word of the word in bold. That says objects will float if they are if they're less dense than the liquid they are in. However, we have an object. However, when an object is denser than the liquid the liquid it's in, it will sink. All right, and we said that antonyms are words with the opposite meaning, right? And if we were to see what the word is, it's the same as or almost the same as float. Something is floating, on top of the water. What is the opposite of calmly floating? So we need to find the word that is the opposite of float. And we will find it within the second sentence. It says, objects will float if they're less dense than the liquid they're in. And now, yeah, however, when an object is denser than liquid it's in, it will sink. Sink. Sink is the word that is the opposite of float. Because if it's not floating on top of the water, for example, then it sinks, right? All right. Now it says select the antonym words with the opposite meanings. We need to select the antonym of the word in bold. And remember, your answer will get in the next sentence that is also, that seems like it's one sentence. It says Russell was fortunate. to get a seat on the flight to Boston. Aunt Brittany was one of the unlucky ones who got stuck at the airport. And if we were to find the word that is the same as fortune, and if we were to find the word that's the opposite of fortune, fortunate, and then we can say if the opposite of fortunate is when you are unlucky. Because fortunate is like saying, oh, you're so lucky. But then the opposite of fortunate is where you are unlucky. All right. And if we were to, that is unlucky. And remember, we said we find it in the next sentence, right? So now we're going to our test. All right. So now let's go to our test where we're finding antonyms in context. And antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. Remember when we look for our second word, right? We need to look some for the words that is the opposite of that word, then we look for that word in the next sentence. All right. It says Ben was ashamed that he had scored so low on his last test. He studied harder for his next test and received a grade he was proud of. And the word that's the same as ashamed, or they say the opposite of ashamed, is something to be proud of. All right. And now it says a unicorn is an imaginary animal. Imaginary animal. It looks like a real horse, but it has a long pointed horn on its forehead. And the words with the opposite in meaning of imaginary, right? Then we can say it is real. It's either you're imagining things or it is real. Russell was fortunate to get a seat on the flight to Boston. So Russell was fortunate to get a seat on the flight to Boston. Aunt Brittany was one of the unlucky ones who got stuck at the airport. What is the word that is the antonym, the opposite? And the word that is the same as, well, it's not even the same as, it's the opposite of fortune. We can say it is unlucky. We need to select the antonyms of the word in bold. It says objects will float if they are less dense than the liquid they're in. All right, and if we were to find the word that is the opposite of float, then we can say it is sink. So it says now we need to select the opposite of the word smooth. It says the fisherman left the smooth water of the sheltered harbor. Out on the open sea, rough waves tossed his boat back and forth. All right, so rough is the same. Now, the fisherman left the smooth water. Oh, we're done with that one. Athens is one of the world's most ancient cities. Though it is famous for its historical museums, the city is also home to many new theaters, art galleries, and music halls. All right, and then we can say ancient is new. right, so guys, that is the end of our lesson on antonyms. We said antonyms are words with the opposite meaning, right? And we said synonyms are words with the same meaning. So thank you very much for joining the class, and I really hope that you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.